Good morning, RCS. I hope you're doing well this morning. It is great to see you this morning, and thank you for joining RCS You Matter Monday. And I'm so excited to have you here again, and hope you have a wonderful week. So today, as you all know, we have been sharing You Matters Mondays. This is our third one, and it's really just an opportunity for you to give time to yourself, to think about resilience building, but also just to appreciate yourself and also help appreciate others as well, right? And so we're all in this together. And so I love this quote. It says, "Self-care is so important. When you take the time to replenish your spirit, it allows you to serve others from the overflow. You cannot serve from an empty vessel." And so as we think about that this morning, and just knowing that kindness changes everything, right? Even with ourselves. If we just take 10 minutes just for ourselves so that we can give others all throughout the week our very best. So I want you to think today as we go through our activities today that our affirming thought is that I'm able to walk on my path with peace and courage. So I want you to think about that today as we do some of the activities that we have planned for today. So let's just start off with the breathing one activity like we normally do. As the balloon goes up, you breathe in. As the balloon goes down, you breathe out. And let's just do this for a few times before we get into our next activity. So if you can just breathe in and then breathe out. And then breathe in and breathe out. And breathe in and breathe out. Let's do that 2 more times. Breathe in and then breathe out. 1 more time. Breathe in and then breathe out. Wonderful job. Good job. And that activity is actually from our virtual reset room. So you can access that by going to our website and clicking on that. And there's lots of breathing activities that are there. So I want us to do something different this morning. This is called a grounding activity. And what it does is it is a mindfulness resilience building skill that helps us just really pay attention to our feelings, our thoughts, our bodily sensations, and just be present in the moment and the here and now. And when we do these activities, it can kind of lead us to a place of stableness and safety. So the breathing activities that we've been practicing, you can do anywhere, anytime. This one takes just a little bit longer, but it's still something that you can do. So you can do it sitting in your chair. I recommend you to stand up, but if you are driving or something like that, please, of course, stay seated. But if you're somewhere where you can stand up, that may be the easiest way to participate in this next activity. So I want you to look at this tree. It's a beautiful tree, isn't it? I love trees. And I think they're very grounding in and of themselves. So I couldn't help but think of this activity and a tree and how it's so connected to grounding. So what I want you to do is just stand right now like your favorite tree. So if you can just stand in whatever space that is, maybe it's a willow tree, maybe it's an oak tree, a pine tree, whatever kind of tree that is. Imagine that your body is the trunk of that tree. And I want you to stand or sit, if you're sitting, in a way that you would like to stand paying attention to the trunk of your body. And notice those sensations. Bring your attention to your feet and imagine that roots are growing into the earth. Pay attention to how the roots are growing and how your feet are standing and that they're strong. Notice those sensations. Imagine the branches of your tree as you begin to move your arms. Just move them freely as if the wind is blowing the branches of your tree. And notice those sensations. Imagine that the tree is in a really pretty field and the sun is beaming down on you. And just imagine what that feels like to have that sun on you. And notice those sensations. Bring attention to your whole body and notice how you feel strong, how the sun feels good on your skin, and notice those sensations. And when you're ready, I invite you to sit back down. Now, you can certainly do that grounding activity for longer than we did, but that is an example of just quickly noticing the sensations in your body first and kind of sitting with that and feeling that relaxation at the same time. It's a way to kind of divert us away from that stress or that tension that we might be involved in at that moment. And also, it just really helps us to feel grounded, right? That's why it's called that grounding activity. So, some other ways that you can ground might be saying kind statements as if you were talking to your best friend, right? Oftentimes, we're harder on ourselves than we would be to any friend that we have. So, saying things like, you're a good person that's going through a hard time, you'll get through this. Or remembering the words to an inspiring song or quote or prayer or poem. When I started today, I was playing I Believe It by CeCe Winings. If you haven't heard that song, it is quite inspiring. And it's just really saying those positive affirmations to yourself really do make all the difference. And when you're doing that, visualize in a calming and safe space. So I want to talk to you this morning and just give you something to think about. My cousin actually gave me some pearls for Christmas, and I saw them the other day as I was kind of straightening up in my bedroom, and I was like, it just made me think that I wanted to share this with you guys. There's something special about pearls that speaks rarity, elegance, just they're beautiful, right? The pearl has been a long time known as like the queen of gemstones. So they are one of the most precious gems that were ever discovered. They're actually not a stone, right? They're more of a gem. And they're believed to be revered, and they were traded for over thousands of years, right? Held in value. What we know about the pearl is that the pearl making process is very slow. Oysters have a rough and rock-like exterior. They have fragile and soft bodies on the inside. And according to the National History Museum, pearl making is a natural defense against irritants or any kind of, something that's impacting it. What happens when those irritants and things enter the shell, that oyster begins making something, a special substance on the inside that's like a tear-like type of fluid. Over that 5 to 6 years, as it deals with those hardships, it really turns into this breathtaking pearl, which I think is just really amazing because that oyster has created this beautiful pearl in the face of adversity, in the face of setbacks, in the face of irritation, what would be a really stressful situation, like someone that's worrying us, something that we're really stressed about coming forward, right, in life, something maybe that we're dealing with our families, maybe a scary health diagnosis, the loss of a loved one, something that's just happened to us as children, right? Or something that's bothering us about a relationship that we're worried about, right? The list could go on and on. But it's hard to be your best when things seem like they're coming at you, right? One after the other. Kind of like this oyster where those hardships keep coming at it, right? But the pearl is the only jewel which is a product of living matter. I think that's so interesting when you think about all the jewels in the world. This pearl is formed out of a living matter that endured great hardships, that endured great injury, right? And it grows out of hurt. The particle of sand or some other irritating source, it just keeps like cracker crumbs in the bed, right? You know how that's like so irritating, and there's no way for the oyster to brush it away or to get rid of that irritating source. It has no defense, right? But what we see over time is that as a pearl is formed and its layers grow, a rich iridescence begins to glow. The oyster has taken what was at first an irritation and used it to enrich its value. So, my question for us today is how can we coat or frame the changes in our life with the beauty and brilliance and wisdom, just as the oyster has done with that pearl? And I couldn't help but be reminded of one of these of my favorite verse. This is one of my favorite verses, and this is actually really special to my husband and I. This verse for lots of reasons. The verse is, "But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness," right? And those hardships that we endure really make us who we are, but also help us to be stronger to move forward and also make us really beautiful. And so as you look at this quote, and I know it says she, but you could change that to he or, he or she. But I love this quote because it says, like a pearl discovered in the depths of the ocean, she finally found herself and realized the treasure that she was. And that really is you, right? You are a treasure. You bring positive things to other folks. You have endured a lot, but you have so much to give. And when we take this time for ourselves, like you're doing this morning, we're able to do that and give out of that overflow, like we talked about at the beginning. So I just want to, last week we honored our friend Scott Vestal, right? And this week I wanted to honor a few folks. This month we've sort of celebrated. One is Love the Library. I know we call our media folks media specialists, but it's Love the Library month. So say something to your media specialist, right? It was also School Resource Officer Day on February 15th last week, and this past week was School Counseling Week. So I just wanted to honor our fellow RCS staff in this space and just say thank you to each of these groups. Thank you to everybody. But these had special honoring this week, so I just wanted to give a shout out to them. And just as a reminder, on our behavioral health website, you can actually view the other RCS You Matter Mondays, and you can go and look at them anytime. I'll post that link every week after we have our morning. And then also use our virtual reset room. A lot that those breathing activities, a lot of those things that we've been doing are there on the virtual reset room. You can do them anytime. They only take just a minute, right? You can give yourself that minute. And finally, I just want to say thank you to each of you for all you do. I hope that you work through your week with a sense of renewal and just a sense of appreciation for the very important work that all of you do. So thank you so much for everything. I hope you have a wonderful week, and thanks for joining You Matter Monday.